All right, guys, we got a new tool review today. This is a 6000 amp jump starter, tire inflator, and air pump. And this is by a company called NovSight. They reached out and asked me if they sent this to me, if I'd be interested in reviewing it. I told them, sure, send it and I'll take a look at it. So let's get it out of the box. I'll read off the specs, and we're going to put this thing through the typical test that I do for most of these. It does come in a case. And let me just read off the specs real quick. So this is their G5 unit. You can see the G5 right there. It is a 12 volt, 6000 peak amp jump starter that is rated for all gas engines and up to a 10 liter diesel engine. It'll air a tire up to 150 psi. It has an air pump, and we'll look at all the accessories here in just a second. It is a power bank. So you do have USB ports right here for the power bank, and it has 3 light modes. So you got flash, strobe, SOS, and constant on. And it does have a 3700 watt hour or a 37 watt hour internal battery. Now, what makes this particular unit a little more unique than your average jump starter is that not only does this one have the tire inflator, but it also has a dedicated air pump. So if you do a lot of camping or go to the lake and you need something to air up inflatable items like air mattresses or tubes, to get out there on the lake and float around, this will do it. So let's take a look at the accessory pack. Of course, you see the jumper cable part of it right here. It does have 10 different protections also, they advertise. So if you hook these up backwards or anything like that, you're not going to damage your car or the unit. So here's a hose with some accessories here that will screw onto the hose so that whenever you're airing up your device, well, not really device, but your item, your inflatable item, then you've got a variety of attachments to pick from. And then, of course, here's the hose for the tire inflator part of it. And we're going to do the typical test where we're going to crank the engine. I don't have my son's Tacoma, which is typically the test bed that I use. We're going to use we have a 2007 Jeep Wrangler. I'm going to disconnect the battery, and we're going to use this to crank the engine at least 3 times, depending on how it's doing. We may go 5, and then we're going to deflate the tire on the Jeep down to 10 psi, and then we're going to air it up to 40 psi, and then we'll find something around here to use the air pump on to inflate it. So just a real quick overview. If we turn this unit on, let me see, that's the on button right there. You got your typical digital display. Cycle through your different, you got your bicycle, your basketball, your regular PSI to where you can set whatever pressure you want. And then, of course, you can go back to like car. Now, it's got that set at 36, but you can adjust that up or down wherever you want it also. Of course, you got the light. Pretty bright. Push it again, you got your strobe. Push it again, you got your SOS. Push it again, it goes off. And just to turn the unit on to let you feel, or you're not going to be able to feel, but let you hear the pump, is I'm going to hit the little turbo button here. And that blows quite a bit of air. I'm really impressed with how much air that blows. To turn and it does have separate pumps or separate motors for the tire inflator and the air pump. Let me see what I got to do. That's your high pressure pump. Anyway, let me get the Jeep set up. We're going to go over there. We're going to get this connected, and we're going to get this done so this video doesn't get any longer than it has to. All right, guys, you can hear this clicking. So it's detected that it is connected to a vehicle. I do have the negative battery post disconnected from the battery, so there's no way that this battery is going to help in any way to crank this engine. So I'm going to crank it, like I say, at least 3 good cranks. If it sounds like it's still going strong, we'll do it a couple more. So we'll do it a max of 5. And I'm going to put it, this vehicle does have clear flood mode. So I'm going to put the gas pedal all the way to the floor so it's not going to start. It's just going to crank. Okay, that was 4 good cranks. And I believe the unit probably senses that it's getting kind of hot. So as part of the torture test, I'm going to disconnect this. We're going to hook it back up. And we're going to do at least 1 more crank. Okay, so that was 5 good long cranks. Again, this is a 3.8 liter V6 engine with 5 good long cranks. I have no doubt that if it was a V8 engine, it would crank it really nice too. So what I want to do now is I'm going to disconnect this, and without, let's see how many bars we got here. Still showing to be fully charged. 3 bars on the battery. Hopefully that's coming through. So we're going to deflate the tire on this Jeep down to 10 psi, and then we're going to use this pump to air it back up from 10 psi to 40 psi. This is a 33-inch tall tire, so pretty good size, and we're going to see if this will do it without any problem. And then once we get this aired back up to 40, then we're going to use the air pump to air up an inflatable device. I got to figure out what that's going to be. Don't know what it is yet, but let's get started. All right, guys, hopefully you're going to be able to see that. That's at 9.5 pounds. And I can't tell in the viewfinder if you're able to see that or not, but hopefully you saw that at some point. I'm going to hook the tire inflator up here. Typically the way these work, I'm going to turn the unit on, push and hold. Now I'm just going to go to regular pressure. And if you remember when I was showing this, I had set that at 40 psi. It's detecting the pressure at 8 psi. So I'm just going to hit on, and we're going to let it go. And it does have a fan right here. As it pulls air in, it keeps the unit cooler. All right, guys, so it made it to 40 in about 18, little over 18 seconds. The important thing is it actually did it. We're down to 1 bar. The unit is a little bit warm. So let's see how close to 40 it gets. Hopefully you can see that's 39.8. So it does measure accurately. So now the next step is to air a inflatable item up. Again, all on the same battery. I'm not going to charge it. It did the 2 most important things: cranked the engine 5 different times and aired this tire up from 10 psi to 40. And also note that the higher the pressure is in the tire, the harder it is for any inflator, even a full-size air compressor, to get that extra pound in. For every pound that it has to fight, it's harder for it. So going from, say you had a completely flat tire, then you was just going to 30, it's going to be easier for it to do that than it is going from 10 to 40. Because we're already starting off with 10 psi, so it's happened to overcome 10 psi. But let's go ahead and move over here. I've kind of decided that what I'm going to do. All right, so I've got the hose attached to it. Comes with the adapter to lock in here. Got an O-ring on it to keep it leak free. And then you screw on whatever adapter you want for your device or your item. And all we're going to do, this is a 55-gallon trash bag, and we're just going to demonstrate how it will air this up and pull all the air out of it. So if you want to store it back in the case or box that it came in, a lot of times once you inflate something, you never get it back down to the size that it originally was. So to do this, see where you're at here. I'm going to hit the pump. First got to turn the unit on. Feels like it's about to pop, so I went ahead and shut it off. So now, without letting the air out of this, I'm going to switch the hose over to the suction side, and we're going to pull the air out of it. And it's the same thing. You're just going to hit the pump, you're going to switch the hose over to the suction side, and it's going to pull the air out of this and get it back down to where it was. There you have it, guys. Anyway, pretty impressive little unit here. It is still down, obviously, at 1 bar. And it not only cranked the engine 5 times, it aired the tire up, and it aired this trash bag up. So pretty handy little unit, if I have to say so myself. And I think I did mention that you can use this as a power bank, so you can plug phones or tablets in it and charge those up too. Anyway, and if I didn't say, you can plug USB devices in and charge them up, you know, cell phones, tablets, whatnot. This is the NovSight G5 Jump Starter, tire inflator, and air pump. You guys take care.